after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. So once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Let us move on to the next, and that is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all are joining today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Das Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Sukakar Krishnadas from Chennai. And all goes to the Prabhupada, all goes to all the Vaishnavas, all goes to all Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for allowing me to come to your group. It's a fantastic group. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Sukakar Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for joining. Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Padmasakhi Devi Dasi from Florida.
Hare Krishna, Padmasakhi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees. This is Kaumudiki Dasi from Baltimore. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kaumudiki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Priti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Priti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all assembled devotees. Yashomati from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, all glories to the Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Bangalore.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotees. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru from Haridwar.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, and to all the assembled devotees. This is Megha from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Megha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Shiromani Nandarani Devidasi from Krishna Katha Desh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Shiromani Randarani Mataji Dandavats Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from Lincoln.
Indulekha Karuna Mataji Dandavats Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you so much Mataji for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam. I offer my obeisances to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavats Pranam.
What is your name, Prabhu or Mataji? We don't know. Can you say?
Yeah, my name is Anshaha from West Bengal.
Okay.
Prabhu.
Yeah, if possible, can you change your name?
Yes, Mataji. Right away. I'll do it
No,
now.
it says Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. I'm just doing it.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, Mataji. I'm
Hare
sorry.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Is there anyone who would like to introduce in the call today?
Hare Krishna Vasudha Mataji, Dandvat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava, Vrinda, Srila Prabhupada Salvadev ki Jai.
Hare Krishna Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavats Pranam Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Okay, I welcome all of you once again for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are really fortunate to have His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu ji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam from 6.1.21 onwards. So before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I hand over the call to Tiffany Mataji to give a brief introduction on Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we are so fortunate today to have with us His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. He was born in 1968 in a pious South Indian family. He holds an M.Tech from IIT Bombay, and he has been a junior research fellow and senior design executive. He was inspired by His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj's scientific presentation of Krishna consciousness philosophy, and he received initiation by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 1993. He has been president of the Pune ISKCON Temple since 1997, and he is also director of Vedic Oasis for Inspiration, Culture, and Education, and youth counselor and corporate advisor. He has compiled many books on topics relevant to corporates like stress management, etc., and he has published a 5-volume series on spirituality for modern youth, Discover Yourself, Your Best Friend. Prabhuji has compiled a 5-volume series course on the essence of Bhagavad Gita, positive thinker, self-management, etc. And he offers seminars on topics such as stress management, proactive leadership, time management, and self-management for companies and colleges. Radheshyam Prabhuji has offered a 1-semester course at the International Institute for Information Technology on the topic of effective leadership in time management. And ISKCON conferred upon him the Global Excellency Award for the year 2004 for his valuable contribution to youth preaching, and the Jiva Goswami Award in 2005 for innovative youth preaching. So welcome to the call, Prabhuji. It's so wonderful to have your association. Oh, you're muted, Prabhu. We can't hear you.
Can I share the verse on the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So can you all see the verse?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
We can see.
Okay. I can do short kirtan and then I'll. My mic. Jaya Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshagavannilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Yati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the opportunity to be with all of you today. So we are reciting from the 6th canto. As you all know, you all have been coming together in this type of Bhagavatam classes, hearing regularly verse by verse. You must have completed the 5th canto, where the 28 types of hells are explained. It's very frightening and extremely painful for the devotees also to hear about that, because we don't want to see any living entity suffering in such hells, and we would like to see everybody liberated from such hells and going back to from Bhulaka to Bhulaka and being in Krishna's company. And that was actually the mood of Parikshit Maharaj also. So when Parikshit Maharaj expressed his heart to Shukadeva Goswami about how all the jivas can be saved from gliding down to hell, and they could be safely sheltered in the light. And that is how this 6th canto began. So he would share with him various methods like, karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti, different processes. So let us recite the verse now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Kanya Kupche Vilakkashchit Dasi Patir Ajamila Namna Nashta Samacharo Dasyaha Samsargaduhitaha. In the city known as Kanyakubja, there was a Brahmana named Ajamila who married a prostitute maidservant and lost all his Brahmanical qualities because of the association of that low-class woman. But by his divine grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The fault of illicit connection with women is that it makes one lose all Brahmanical qualities. In India, there is still a class of servants called the Shudras, whose maidservant wives are called Shudranis. Sometimes people who are very lusty establish relationships with such maidservants and sleeping women, since in the higher statuses of society, they cannot indulge in the habit of woman hunting, which is strictly prohibited by social convention. Ajamila, a qualified Brahmana youth, lost all his Brahmanical qualities because of his association with the prostitute. But he was ultimately saved because he had begun the process of bhakti-yoga. Therefore, in the previous verse, Shukadeva Goswami spoke of the person who has only once surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. Mana Krishna Padara Vindayoho. Sakrit, the word is used. Sakrit Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo Nivejitam Tad Gunaragiyeriha Nade Yamam Pasha Dutashta Tad Phatan Swapne Vipashyanti Kitirna Nishpratan. So that is the verse. So Sakrit means only once a person has surrendered to the Lord, or has just begun the Bhakti Yoga process. Bhakti Yoga begins with Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoho, hearing and chanting of our Vishnu's names, as the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chanting is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declares, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatiranyata, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy. The only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is always superbly effective. But it is especially effective in this age of Kali. Its practical effectiveness will now be explained by Srimad Goswami through the history of Ajamila, who was freed from the hands of Yamadutas simply because of chanting the holy name of Narayana. Parikshit Maharaja's original question was how to be freed from falling down into hell or into the hands of the Yamadutas. In reply, Srimad Goswami is citing this old historical example to convince Parikshit Maharaj of the potency of bhakti-yoga, which begins simply with the chanting of the Lord's name. All the great authorities of bhakti-yoga recommend the devotional process beginning with the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, Tannama Grihanadibihi. Shukadeva Goswami says that he heard this pastime from Agastya Rishi. It's an old pastime which he himself heard, and then now he is repeating it to Parikshit Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj's question, as I told you before, was how the souls who are degrading and falling into the hell can be saved. And they are especially falling why? Due to sin. You will see that sin is the cause of the suffering. So in the scriptures, it is explained how the results of our good and bad actions gradually come in the future lives. Like we can sow a neem seed or we can sow a mango seed. Eventually, neem seed will produce thousands of neem fruits. Mango seed will produce thousands of mango fruits eventually. It's like Papa and Punya. They will produce accordingly, and then we are the ones who are who eats those seeds, eats those fruits subsequently. So once it comes as a fruit, a mango fruit or a neem fruit, that's called as a prarabdha karma. It has already come. But prior to fructifying, you will see in a mango tree, there's a mango flower. And then there's a mango bud. And then the bud becomes a big mango, green mango. Then it becomes ripe mango. You will see that. In the same manner, I have experienced myself personally when sometimes I used to get ulcer in the inside the cheek sometimes, So prior to the coming of the ulcer, sometimes there will be some pain in that portion. At the time, ulcer has not yet manifested. And after a week or so, it will just manifest a whole kind of thing, round one. It will be severely painful. Then you have to go to the doctor, you apply something, and gradually you cure it over a period of time. So in an unmanifest state, it is yet to manifest. It has not yet come. It's going to manifest. Similarly, sufferings coming. Sufferings can be from small to big. For example, somebody may get a wound in the knee. A boy is running on the road playing cricket or something. He falls on the ground and he gets a wound in the knee. That's a mild punishment coming from Purvajanma karma. Or somebody may get a fracture in the leg, which is more severe one. Or somebody may try to cross the road and hit over by a car or something and he dies. That's even more serious one. So for smaller sins, we get smaller punishments. For bigger sins, we get bigger punishments. Like somebody has killed a cow, or somebody has aborted a child in the previous life. Then the next life, they may also be killed by an accident, or by famine, or by some deadly disease. They may die also. Or if there are milder sinful activities, then there are milder reactions also. But for every action, there is a equal and opposite reaction. Nobody can escape the reactions. Good and bad reactions come. Purva janma arjita punyam papam agreed dhavati dhavati. It said they come in the subsequent lives. It could be instant reaction, or it can be a gradual. I can share something, is it? I can share. I'll just show you something. Okay. Okay. So I think I have to share it with you. But one day naturally, you can see now. There's like instant karma you saw now, isn't it? So in the same manner, there are others also. Sorry.
Hey, don't move! Nana.
So you got it? You understood that now? Say when as a small boy, he teased the elephant, and then subsequently the reaction came and he grew up, isn't it? Yeah. Here is another one.
The trunk monkey theft retrieval system. Because sometimes getting your car back is simply not enough. Another revolutionary idea. You'll only find at Suburban Auto Group, pending approval from the department.
So, after that was instant karma. He stole someone's car and immediately was killed by the monkey was sitting inside him. I saw that. So you find like this, the karma, how it chases us when we indulge in karma, when we are.
Nous sommes quelque part dans le cœur de la cité. Le jeune Sébastien est poursuivi par un poulet en colère.
A young man is being chased by a chicken.
Nous savons que ce poulet est en colère et que quand un poulet...
There goes the young man.
Il y a un poulet intelligent. Il est parfois un peu...
Look, there he goes.
Il le sait.
He cannot fool the chicken.
Un poulet ou même de vous échapper.
But wait.
Vous montrer plus intelligent que lui. Bien sûr.
All right.
I showed you a few videos, you saw that you got an idea. So you could see that clearly what I showed you till now. Yeah. So some are instant karma, some are little delayed. Like you sow an apple seed in the ground, it takes some time for the sapling to grow into a tree, and then small fruit and bigger fruit, green fruit, and then red fruit. Then it grows up, it takes time. Similarly, the karmic reactions are compared to the growth of a seed into a sapling, into a tree and a bigger tree, and then flowers and then fruits. In this way, gradually it grows. And so when sufferings come, we all realize now it is prarabdha karma. A little before that was aprarabdha karma. And prior to that, in our minds, it's in the form of a bija, the seeds. Actually, if you take a cross section of our minds, there are thousands of seeds of desires to do. And those desires, some are legitimate desires and some are illegitimate desires. We all know that very well. So those which are legitimate means it is three things we should remember: sanctioned, sanctified, regulated. For example, vegetarian food is sanctioned and prasada is sanctified. And eating, reasonable quantity of prasad, not overeating. Otherwise, if you overeat, then you go to sleep. You don't do seva. So therefore, then eating moderately, mitabuk. One of the 26 qualities of Vaishnava is mitabuk. So sanctioned, sanctified, regulated is actually proper. We don't incur any karma for that. Similarly, somebody wishes to marry, that is sanctioned actually. Proper marriage is sanctioned. And it is sanctified, especially if a man and woman come together on a sacred tie as Krishna's devotees. They are devotees coming together under the blessings of the spiritual master. And regulated means they actually don't lead lavish lives of eat, drink and be merry, but they make their home into a temple. And they invite people to the home and cook prasad, feed them prasad, take care of the Lord in the altar. Then they utilize the money in a way that they are able to expand Krishna consciousness. They are not irregulated in lavishly spending the money. And also they don't live for sense gratification. They live for Krishna consciousness. In this way, we all can be sanctioned, sanctified, and regulated in everything we do. There are pure desires. Then gradually we become advanced in Krishna consciousness when we do this. But then there are illegitimate desires, which are not sanctioned. They are also in our mind in the form of seeds. What are those seeds? Krishna clearly gives us in Bhagavad Gita. Vividam narakasyedam dwaram nashanam kama krodha tata lobhas tasma etat vayantyaget. He's telling there are three types of, there are three gates to hell, he says. Vividam narakasyedam, what are they? Kama krodha lobha. Lust, anger, greed, he says. These three seeds are also there. For example, Duryodhana had a greed seed. What was that greed? He wanted to usurp the land of the Pandavas. And Ravana had a lusty seed. He wanted to kidnap the wife of Rama. Isn't it? And Durvasa Muni had an anger seed. He considered himself superior and he wanted to destroy Ambarish Maharaj. So in this way, this is lust, anger, and greed seed. And these three are diseases in our mind. Diseased seeds. They are dangerous. They are like new seeds. They are going to cause us pain. And they are sinful seeds. Due to sinful things, they arise in our mind. And they have to be gotten rid of. Otherwise they are going to gradually fructify also. Like Ravana, he was, it's very amazing, Ravana's history when you read. See, first time he went to meet Maricha. Maricha told him, hey Ravana, it's dangerous. I don't know, whichever person told you to go and attack Ram and take away Sita, he is your greatest enemy. And Maricha said, I had become a carnivorous deer with emanating fire from my mouth with an antelope, horn. I was looking like a deer, but I was capturing sages and tearing their body of rishis and munis in forest and eating them up. But when Lord Ram came, he recognized that I am not ordinary deer. I am a cheating, antelope. I'm not. At that time, he said that Rama aimed at my friend, he killed my other two fellows. And because I was running away from Rama's arrow, I was thrown into the ocean by 800 miles. My life was spared. After that, I came to this forest, the Kovanam, and I performed meditation. And wherever I hear the word Ra, I become upright. So he said, don't, antagonize Ram. And Ravana went back. Do you know that? And Ravana agreed, okay, if Ram is such a very dangerous fellow, then I'm going back. I'm not fighting. I'm all right. Yeah. That means there was a desire to enjoy Sita, but it was in a dormant state, aparadha state. It did manifest outside. But then when Shutnaka very much described the beauty of Sita to him repeatedly and said, you are a fool, you are missing the opportunity. You should go and get her. Then again he went second time to Maricha and said, this time I have come not to hear an upadesh from you. You do what I am telling you, otherwise I'll kill you, like that he said. So now it was Vinasha Kali Viparita Buddhi. His time of destruction came, so that's how he had such evil thought. That means he gave shape to his illicit, lusty desire. Now he is a married man, he has his Mandodari wife, then why should he think of another man's wife as object of his own enjoyment? That is called illicit sex. It's not that he doesn't know the Shastra, he knows it, but still he contemplated on the wrong desire. And that's why you will see that, he kidnapped Sita by cheating her, and eventually what happened, you all know that's a history. Similarly, greed. Scriptures say that when you go from need to greed, we have to bleed. That's a result of greed. Like, the fish gets abundant, food in the ocean. Similarly, a rat gets abundant rice and wheat and everything in the field. But when the fish wants a meat piece, then he is caught by the tackle of the fisherman. Similarly, when a rat wants to eat some sweet item or pakoda, some special item, which is put in a rat trap, that's where he gets trapped. When you go from meat to greed, we have to bleed. And that's what happened to Duryodhana. Duryodhana could have easily given 5 villages to Pandavas and he would have been saved. I mean, he could have ruled the rest of the world. He was so greedy, he wanted to wipe out the Pandavas completely and take over that 5 villages also. Eventually, he himself was destroyed. You see that. So, in the same manner, Durvasa Muni was cursing an innocent soul, Ambarish, pure devotee of the Lord. And you can see his anger that he directed towards the innocent and pure devotee king, how it came back in the form of Sudarshan Chakra, and how much he suffered. So we all study the scriptural histories so that by reading these things, we develop a desire not to, indulge in this kama karma bijas. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful verse that says, the 2 verses, I will tell you, very wonderful verses relevant to Vaishnavas. One verse says this, na kama karma bijanam yasya chetasi sambhavaha vasudevaika nilayaha tavai bhagavatottamaha. See, this verse says, na kama karma bijanam chetasi sambhava. He's saying the seeds of kama karma lobha in the mind of a devotee of the Lord, who has now eventually become a pure devotee, those seeds will not fructify. They will not act because they are fried by the devotee. Either you can fry or you can drown. If you fry the seeds, you can fry the seeds by jnana. Jnana vidakta karmanam pasmasahat kurte tata. Krishna says to Arjuna, Yataidam samidovni pasmasahat kurte tata jnanam vidakta karmani pasmasahat kurte tata. The transcendental knowledge is so pure and so sublime. You keep hearing lectures of Bhagavatam daily, regularly. That jnana will make you realize I am not the body, I am the spirit soul, I am Krishna's servant. Prabhupada says knowledge means who is God, where does he live, what does he do, what is my relationship with him, and why did I leave him and come here, how can I go back to him, how I can eternally engage in his service. This is actually real knowledge. So when the real knowledge awakens, then it fries the kama karma bijas in our mind. Then they will not germinate because your propensity towards the lower nature goes away. Another one is you drown the seeds. You can try this if you want. Put some seeds in a glass of water and keep it for a few days. They will rot and they will not germinate. They will not turn into a plant. And that is what the Rupa Goswami says. You can drown yourself in bhakti bliss. In the bliss that you get from bhakti yoga practices like chanting, dancing, cooking, dressing the deity, making ornament for the deity, and worshipping the deity, and then distributing Prabhupada's books, and then going to yatras. So all these things give us spiritual bliss. So in the spiritual bliss, again the Kama Karma Vidyas can be drowned and they can be destroyed. The two ways by which we can finish them in the path of bhakti yoga. And the most important amongst all those practices of bhakti yoga is the chanting of the holy name, the topmost. Because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that Bhajane Ramadya Sreshta Navavida Bhakti Krishna Prema Krishna Kirtya Dhare Mahashakti. He says that among all type of devotional activities, which is called Navavida Bhakti is the best, he says. And same thing Prahlad Maharaj said also. To his father asked him, what is the best thing, my son, you have learned in the Gurukula? And Prahlad told one famous verse, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pahasevanam Archanam Mandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam Yadipam Sarpita Vishnu Bhaktische Navanaksha Kriyeta Bhagavat Yadha Dhanmanye Adhimita Uttamam. My dear father, any human being who performs this Navavida Bhakti, Shravanam Kirtanam Smaranam Archanam Mandanam to Lord Vishnu, he has attained the highest goal of life. He said, this is the best thing he can do. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada. In this ISKCON society, we are all hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, like you all are hearing daily. Gita Bhagavatam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, we are also speaking, glorifying the Lord. And Smaranam, we get to remember the Lord. And Archana, we are worshipping the daily form of the Lord. Pahasevanam means watering the sea and going to the holy dhams. That is also called Pahasevanam. And Vandanam, offering prayers to the Lord and bowing down to the Lord. Dasyam, becoming a servant of the Lord. Sakyam, becoming a friend of the Lord. Atma Nivedanam, offering one's body, mind, words, everything to the Lord completely. So these 9 things are actually the central thing in the path of Bhakti Yoga, he says. Anyone who does these 9 things, they have achieved the best goal of life, he says. But Lord Chaitanya doesn't stop with this. He says further, you know what he says? After this verse, he says, Taramadya Sarvasrita Nama Sankirtan. He's saying that amongst these 9 processes, there is one process which is very, very special, he says. That is Nama Sankirtan, he says. That Kirtanam of the Lord. Kirtanam of Lord's name and hearing of the Lord's fame. These two, we call it as a Bhagavat Shravan, Nama Smaran. So these two, so Nama Smaran is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is emphasizing. The chanting of the holy name and remembering the Lord. So therefore the Shravanam and Kirtanam is actually for Smarana. And Kirtanam will lead to Smarana if you keep on doing Kirtanam of the Lord, in glorifying His fame and also chanting His holy name when you do these two things. In fact, Narada also says this in Bhagavatam. He says that he says that these two things I told you just now, they are like a boat for helping the jiva to go from the material, go through the material ocean and go to the shore, which is spiritual world. You know the names and following 4 rights, and regularly hear Srimad Bhagavatam and Seva, you are rightly situated. You can easily go back to Godhead by doing these two things. So, therefore, he says that in the path of Bhakti Yoga, Shuddha Bhakti, you do something for the Lord, but what you want in return, he says, I also want some salary from you. He says, what is the salary I want from you? I don't want money. I don't want anything of this world. He says that give me the salary of Prema Bhakti. He says, the love of God. He says, Krishna Prema Vina Vyartha Daridra Jivan Dasa Kori Vedan Bhadeya Premadhan. He's saying, I am your servant, my dear Lord. I am chanting your holy name. I only want one thing in return from you. I simply want your love for you, pure love of God. That's all I am asking. So, therefore, this 11th canto, this verse is saying that Kama Karma Vijanam Chetas Sambhava. The Kama Karma we just cannot affect the devotee who is chanting the holy name inoffensively, helplessly, purely, without any duplicity, calling out the Lord's name sincerely, begging the Lord. Prabhupada says, what is chanting Hare Krishna? Please accept me. Prabhupada says, this is chanting. In one of his purports, he says, please accept me. Mighty Lord, please do not reject me. That's what Nathu Das Thakur sings. Narottama dase koi, nakeli varanga boy. Tomavina ke achi amara, he says. So please accept me just like a child is. Gita, Sri Vishwanath Thakur has given a beautiful commentary to 2 verses. In one verse, Krishna says that Devesham Antagata Papam. That verse he says, you put a full stop to your sins and Dharana, Punya Karmana, engage in Punya Karma of Shravanam Kirtanam, Srimatam Sabata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtanam, and engage in this activity. If you do these 2 things, put a full stop to sin and engage in Shravana Kirtan, all these activities. Then Krishna says, then what is the result of that? Then you can become determined in devotional service and you can attain me, he says. Here Krishna has put the whole onus of advancing in spiritual life on you. Whereas in the 18.66 verse, Krishna is telling Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Charanam Vraja. Abandon all the different type of the dharmas in this world. There is Samaj Dharma, there is a Jati Dharma, Kula Dharma, so many dharmas. You give up all that. Mam Ekam Charanam Vraja, surrender only unto me. Then what I will do? Aham Vam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishami. Maharshi, do not fear, I will destroy all your sins. See, the first verse he said, you destroy your sins, do Punya Karma and come to me. In the second verse he says, I will destroy your sins provided you surrender to me, he says. So Chakravarti Thakur has combined these 2 verses. He says, when a child is sometimes passing stool and urine, and the child is rolling on that, and it is smelling very nasty, and the child starts crying, and the mother is seeing that the child has smeared the stool and urine in his body, it looks very dirty, and the child is calling the mother, Kuwa is calling, and the mother is saying, oh, shame, shame, puppy, shame, you're so unclean, go and take a bath, my child, only when you are clean I will accept you, he says. That is like the first verse I told you. He says, Yesham to Antagatam Papam means, clean your stool and urine and come to me. Whereas if the child lifts the hand and cries to mother, mother, I don't know how to bathe myself. You can only help me. That is like Mamekam Charanam Vraja. Surrendering to Krishna. Then Krishna says, okay, oh, you are surrendering to me. Okay, I will take you to the bathroom and I will bathe you. And I will clean you up of all your mess that you have created. And I will make you neat and clean, don't worry. So therefore, bhakti-yoga means our focus should not be on only anarthana vritti. Our focus should be on artha pravritti. I will tell you the difference between the 2. Anarthana vritti means getting rid of this lust, anger, greed, seeds in our mind. Yeah. And artha pravritti means engaging in bhakti yoga wholeheartedly, paying attention to chanting attentively. There are 64 principles Srila Rupa Goswami has given us in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Out of which the first 5 are very important. Adav Guru Vadashray, Sadharma Pracha, Vishnamena Guru Seva, Krishna Diksha Shikshanam, Sadhu Atman Vartanam. These 5 are very important. Like, it says, first one should surrender, take shelter of Guru, hear Shiksha and Diksha, hear Shiksha from him and take Diksha. And then render intimately service to him by taking personal instructions from him. And also follow the Parampara Acharyas, Guru Atman Vartanam. And then he also says that Sadharma Pracha, one should ask questions to Guru based on the study of the Shastra. After rendering Seva, one should ask questions also. These 5 are the first 5 items. And then you all know the last 5 items are also very important. Potent forms of devoting service. 5 potent forms. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavata Shravan Mataravasa Shrimurti Rashtateya Sevan. It says associating with saintly persons, chanting the holy name, and studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, making home into Vrindavan, and worshipping the deity form of the Lord. If you do these 5 things, so 5 plus 5, these 10 items are very, very important items amongst the 64. Others are also important. We can do like taking Saranamrita, going in procession with the Lord, and all those things we can do. But these 10 are very important. So these are the ways by which you advance in Bhakti Yoga. If you attend any ISKCON temple program from morning 4:30 to 9:30, you would have done more than 40 to 45 items out of 64 items. That's how Prabhupada has designed it. Based on these principles only, he has designed it. So anyone who is very strict in the morning program, they're very fortunate. They get all these items to do. You take Saranamrit, you go Sakamamrit, and you see the deity form of the Lord, you bow down, everything happens there. So in this way, the 11th canto verse I told you, it's one of the Uttama Bhagavat verses, which says that Uttama Bhagavat in this way destroys the Kama Karma Bijas and is not affected. Vasudevai Nilayah Savai Bhagavata Uttamaha. He has substituted those Kama Karma seeds in his mind. He has removed them and substituted them by Vasudeva. His heart has become a Nilaya, means house, for Lord Krishna. He has kept Krishna in his heart. That's why there is a very beautiful song. I will show you that song. It's very, you will really love it. I'll just show you that song. Just a minute. Okay. I think you'll be able to see now. I can see now. This is a song. Oh, Namandir. See what he says. He says, yeah. I sing the short. When I'm singing, you can also see the meaning of the song also. Okay. So it's a very beautiful song, isn't it? So you also have the meaning of the song also, right? Like in this song, the Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing in this song that Bhakti Priti Maharaj, my dear Lord, I will offer you my devotion, my love, and garland and sandalwood bulb. And please kindly accept these small offerings I am giving you. You are a great personality. You know, if I take one glass of water from the Ganges out, or if I put one glass of water into the Ganges, is it going to make any difference to the Ganges? You know, Ganges is always overflowing with so much of water. In the same manner, I am making some small offerings to you with whatever little I can. Please kindly accept it. And then he is saying that, oh Nanda Kumar, oh Krishna, please come. Praise Nanda Kumar, Nanda Kumar. Yeah, Prema Pradipur, Arati Tomar. He's saying that I'll offer you lamplight of my love. Oh, delighter of the hearts. Manohar means one who delights our hearts. He is delighter of everybody. In Vrindavan, he plays on his flute and delights, the bumblebees, the deers, the peacocks, the monkeys, and parrots, everybody, and also Gopas, Gopis, everybody. And he's saying that from my two eyes, tears are flowing like Yamuna, flowing from my eyes. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will try, there will be Yamuna and Ganga will come from his two eyes, it is said, in great separation from you. And he's telling that in this way I will, day and night, all life and even after life, when I leave this body and accept another body, I'll continue to be a devotee for all time to come. So this is the beauty of the path of Bhakti Yoga. If we adopt this mood that Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur is teaching us, it's very easy for us to nullify the seeds of Kama, Karma, Krodha and all these things. The Krodha sanskaras will go away and they will be replaced by peace of. Actually, one who is angry will become peaceful. One who is lusty will become filled with love. One who is greedy will become filled with satisfaction. Such a heart transformation is actually the goal of Krishna consciousness. We bring about that heart transformation and become pure devotees by the chanting of the holy name. Actually, the chanting goes deep up to the chitta. Whereas the other processes like karma kanda, karma yoga, because karma yoga you perform with the limbs of your body, senses of your senses. And jnana yoga you perform with the mind, by speculation with the mind. And ashtanga yoga you do with your intelligence, by concentrating and focusing on the Vishnumurti form in the heart using intelligence. Whereas in Bhakti Yoga, you engage the soul in Lord's service. And when soul is engaged, body, mind, words accompany the soul. Along with the soul, they also engage in Krishna's service. So the deepest practice amongst all the yoga practices is Bhakti Yoga practice, where you give your heart to Krishna. Actually, we should not say that you give your heart. Actually, your heart, you find your heart stolen by Krishna. Because generally, when in matters of love, nobody gives the heart. They only suddenly find heart is missing. It will be stolen away by Krishna. That's why some boys put the T-shirt, I lost my heart in Vrindavan. So the path of Bhakti Yoga is the sweet, beautiful. You don't even realize that all the impurities have been washed away by the chanting of the holy name and the spiritual practices. We have to keep ourselves 24/7 busy in service to Guru and Krishna. And so that's a beautiful example given. You all know this, cuckoo, what do you call it? Cocoon, you call it. Inside which the worm lives. When the worm comes out of that cocoon, it develops beautiful wings, colorful wings. And then it becomes a colorful butterfly and flies freely. In the same manner, when a pure devotee comes out of his material body, he looks at the material body and thinks, oh, this abominable material body, I was dragging this material body here and there, living in this world. Now I have come out of this body now. And what are those colorful wings? He developed those wings are 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. He develops all those 26 qualities of a Vaishnava and he flies freely after that. So it will happen to every one of us. If we very sincerely chant the holy name inoffensively, as it is said in this purport which we read today, that the chanting of the holy name was actually, you will see Ajamila had such a heart transformation. What he was and what he became. Although he was a Brahmana doing Sandhya Vandan 3 times a day, going to pluck flowers for on the order of his father and all that, he was not knowledgeable about soul's loving relationship with Krishna through the chanting of the holy name. He was not aware. He was more or less like a ritualistic Brahmana at that time. Just like Yajnik Brahmins we hear about. He wasn't aware about the sublime spiritual truths about Vaikuntha and Lord and everything. But after he met Vishnu Dutas, a great miracle happened in his life. Actually, in the 6th canto, it is also said that if you chant the holy name and not give it up, you continuously chant the holy name, you get 4 gifts supplied by Krishna. First gift is you get association of devotees. And the second gift is you get knowledge about devotional service. And the third gift is you get a chance to engage in seva. And the fourth gift is Vaikuntha plane will come and take the devotee back home, back to Godhead. And you will see that these 4 things happened to Ajamila. He chanted, when he saw the Yamadutas coming at the time of his death, he loudly cried out. He didn't call Narayana, he called his son out of fear. And very loudly, from the bottom of his heart, he cried out to save himself. But that reached the ears of Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha. And Vishnu immediately told his servants, go down. In Bhuloka, somebody is calling my name desperately. They said, my dear son, that's not your name being called, he's calling his own son. Lord said, give him a benefit of doubt, go. Because he has called my name. See how much Lord is so kind. Prabhupada says in one purport, none of us are as eager to return back to Godhead as much as Lord is eager to take back. Lord is just waiting. By mistake also somebody calls his name. Immediately pays attention to that person. Even you have experience when you are in a marketplace, somebody is saying something which resembles your name. And you are close to that. Immediately you will turn around. Did you call me? And they will say, no, I didn't call you. No, I heard my name. Like that you will say right now. As much as we are sensitive to our name being called, similarly, Lord also is sensitive to his name. Somebody calls his name, Lord cannot keep quiet. Immediately Lord responded by sending his devotees. Therefore, he told him, when you chant the holy name, 4 benefits. First benefit is you get the devotee association. And the second benefit he got was, he heard the transcendental knowledge about the glories of the holy name, glories of Krishna, glories of Vaikuntha, glory of practicing devotional service. Ajamila was in tears when he heard that. He wasn't aware of all these things. The holy name is so powerful. Even if somebody didn't address the holy name, he addressed his son. They came with a sword and cut off the ropes of Yamadutas. Instantly. They told the Yamadutas, till now he was in your jurisdiction. The moment he uttered the Lord's name, he is no more in your jurisdiction. He has come under the jurisdiction of Lord Vishnu now. Like that they said. So in this way, he saw it in front of his eyes. It's true that when you chant the Lord's names, Lord takes you in his custody. You are no more in the custody of Yamadutas. He understood that. And thirdly, he developed a very strong repentance for all the misbehavior towards his parents and chaste wife he did. He at once relinquished everything and went to Haridwar. And he stayed in a Vishnu temple, took bath in Ganges every day. Chanted the holy name. After the saintly people worshipped Lord Vishnu, took only prasadam. I was thinking the life of Ajamila in Haridwar is similar to life of ISKCON devotees daily. Our life is exactly the same. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada, he has taught us the pure lifestyle. We are eating daily pure prasadam. We have pure association. We have the pure books Prabhupada has given us to read. We have the beautiful deity forms of the Lord everywhere in all temples. So in this way, this is the type of life we led for 12 years only. And after 12 years, the same Vishnu has returned back to take him back home, back to Godhead. All the four happened to Ajamila. For us, we all started chanting the holy name. So you can easily see that because you are regularly chanting the holy name, devotees have come in your life. You are surrounded by devotees now. So many devotees, isn't it? Not only that, you are getting transcendental knowledge regularly. You are every day you are putting one forward step in increment in knowledge, increment in devotion and everything. And also you're getting chance to engage in seva in your own respective places in the local communities, temples. You're getting seva also. And the only one pending is the Vaikuntha plane has to come. That will come at the end of your life. When you complete your Krishna conscious life perfectly like the way you're doing now, very soon, when the right time comes, Lord's messengers will come and take us back home, back to Godhead. So that's what is said in this purport. You can see that there is no method as powerful as the holy name to destroy the sinful reactions and sinful seeds and sinful proclivities and all that. There is one verse which says that yogis and jnanis, they are all selfishly oriented. Like karmis are thinking how I can enjoy in this one. Jnanis are thinking how I can go and relax in Brahmajyoti. Yogis are thinking how I can get Ashtasiddhis and impress the people of the world. Everybody is their reference point is themselves only. Whereas in bhakti-yoga, we are taught how think about Krishna. Who is Krishna's mother? Who is Krishna's father? Who are Krishna's friends? Which is the animal Krishna loves the most? Who is Krishna's sweetheart? Which is the abode of Krishna? Which is the mountain Krishna likes? Which is the river Krishna likes? So everything about Krishna, you keep thinking about him, naturally you go from here to there. You go to Krishna. Because our absorption is Krishna. Whereas karmis jnani think about how I can get siddhis and how I can get mukti, how I can get enjoyment. So they think I, so then they remain in this world. They don't go there. Therefore, our spiritual absorption in Bhakti Yoga is the best absorption. One last verse about the yogis and jnanis. There's one verse which says that Yunjananam avattanam pranayama nivirmanaha akshina vasanam rajan drishyate punaruttitam. This verse says akshina vasanam rajan. Yogis and jnanis and all, although they also do meditation and try to control the mind and senses, the dust, like if you take a glass of water, the dust settles down by the pranayama. But the pranayama can settle the impurities in the mind and calm the mind, but it cannot purify the mind. Pranayama can only calm the mind. If you take a spoon and again stir the glass, all the dust will come up. Whereas chanting the holy name uproots the impurities. It doesn't settle the impurities. That's the difference between pranayama and chanting. Many people think, oh, when I do pranayama, I feel calm. Yes, you feel calm, but the impurities are not removed. They are only settled. But we are all having the best gift, which is the chanting of the holy name. By this, we can completely uproot all the impurities come across the lower from our hearts, and one day we can become pure devotees. So, like if you take a bottle of ink, if you pour water into that, all the water will become bluish. Again you put, it will become light blue. Again you put it, the blueness will reduce. And then you keep on putting water, but the blueness will go away. It will only remain transparent white. Similarly, even after chanting Hare Krishna, people ask, why dirty things are coming in my mind? That is because the holy name is going inside and washing and bringing out all the dirty things. So initially some impurities will come in the mind, impure absorption. But eventually the distractions will go away completely. And when the distractions go away, you will find that instead of negative distractions of lust, anger, and greed, you will be substituting it with positive distractions. You will be thinking about your seva. Like today in this program, you're like, Shama Gauri Dev Mataji and Tiffany Mataji, they all are leading and organizing. They'll be wondering, oh, we are arranging this program. We have to. So that the mind becomes filled with thoughts of organizing the event, arranging this, arranging that. So all the negative absorption is finished. Then positive distractions come. And then with the positive distraction, it's all about Krishna. But then gradually, as we continue chanting, even positive absorption will be thoughts will arise in the mind, like Hari Hari Vatale Janama Kavaina, that kind of prayerful thoughts. And the core of that prayerful absorption is the Shuddhanam. Someday we'll be able to chant the Shuddhanam, pure name. And then we'll be able to chant the Paradhanam and Shuddhanam. And God will welcome us back home, back to Godhead. Thank you very much. I have exceeded the time. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful session. And very nicely you showed the videos of law of karma and the how lust, greed, anger, like seeds they work, and you nicely narrated the story of Ravana and Maricha, and how the seeds of karma they burn for devotees, or either they drown in it. So that gives a lot of hope, Prabhuji, and so nicely you quoted so many verses. We will have to hear your class like two, three times, then only we will be able to get it properly. So thank you so much. I request devotees, please raise hands. Tiffany Mataji, please go ahead.
I can't hear the sound. Is it problem from my side?
No, I think it was.
Yeah, now I can.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for such a beautiful and inspiring class. I'm so grateful to have your association this morning. As Shamagori Mataji said, you gave us so many verses that inspire us and remind us why we're practicing Krishna consciousness. And thank you so much for your kirtan as well. It's so lovely to have that in the morning. I have one question. As you were speaking of karma, and as you were showing the videos that we sometimes get instant karma, and sometimes we get it delayed. Yeah. And I was wondering, this question has always been in my mind, what determines if it's instant or if it's delayed? Do we know?
Actually, karma is a very complicated area. And the Shastras say that, for example, if somebody is, in India, they have these big barrels they have, Say the previous, previous year, I have put low quality rice in that, blackish rice or something. Half the barrel, and the next year I'm filling up the rest of the barrel with high quality, costly rice. When I take it out from the bottom, then I will only get the black rice which I have put in the previous year. So that is one of the reasons why people wonder, I'm doing good activities now, why am I getting suffering now? I'm not doing anything wrong now. Yes, we are not doing anything wrong right now, but we are getting the salary for the previous month. That's the problem. Because salary company doesn't give for the next month, they won't give you now. They will give you only for the previous month. So our previous life's action, that's what happened with Anga Maharaj also. Anga Maharaj was pure at heart, not even in mind he offended anybody. But according to his Purva Janma karma, he was not having any Putra Bhagya, which means he won't get a son. There was some sin in the previous life. So similarly, sometimes when we suffer, even as a devotee, we can know that I am suffering the results of my own karma. It's coming back to me now. Okay, one good thing about this simple reactions is it will get washed away. If I'm like if I had minus 50, so minus 20 is gone now. So at least 20 is gone. Now only minus 30 is remaining. We can be happy. Plus, actually it is said that when you become a devotee, Krishna takes away your karma, but he doesn't burn it. He keeps it with him. His always Giriraj Maharaj says that Krishna keeps the karma with him because he doesn't trust that you are fully surrendered. So whenever we go little after, he keeps releasing little, that much proportionately. This is like a little pinch. He gives. So when we are fully surrendered, then he burns it away completely. And that made really sense to me when I heard that. Oh, that's wonderful. Krishna is so kind. That means the day you surrendered to Krishna and said, I am yours, he has immediately taken away all your karmic reaction on his account. He's kept with them. Only he has kept it intact so that he can use it for our purification whenever we need it, like that. So it's difficult to know. For example, if a mosquito bit a person and that person got malaria, the doctor tells him that some mosquito has bitten you, so you got malaria, so you should take malaria tablets. If the man is asking, can you tell me how many days ago the mosquito bit me? Which is the mosquito? Where does he live? And that is difficult to find, So Now if we can actually know that the result is seen, the effect is seen, that I'm suffering now, so we take tablets. In the same manner, in case suffering comes to me in this life, maybe unknowingly I did something in the past life, it's coming now. So let me take the Krishna consciousness more seriously. So our focus should not be on, finding out about the past karma. Our focus can be more put on how to get out of this place and go back to Krishna, how to engage in his service. So we can focus on that. And that will be fruitful focus because then it is a positive focus also. Is it all right, Mansi?
Yes, it's wonderful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your
Thank
answer.
you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful answer. One more question comes because of this. Like, why do devotees suffer when the karma has taken, the bag has taken by Krishna? When devotees suffer, in coronavirus, so many devotees left also. Then why it is like that?
Actually, there are two types of devotees. One are the pure devotees, and one are the devotees who are getting purified gradually, isn't it? So if you are devotees who are in the process of getting purified, and we are getting suffering, that I already told you that Krishna keeps our account with him and slowly releases, and he administers some suffering to bring us to track. Just like mother or father sometimes may pinch a child, or they may rectify the mistakes of a child, like that he does for us. And when advanced devotees, when we see them suffering, for example, Sanatana Goswami was having boils all over his body. For 1 year he had it. Mahaprabhu could have actually wiped it out in a moment. But why he had 1 year? Because Mahaprabhu wanted to show that even though he had boils all over his body, his devotional service did not, diminish even a bit. It was fully fixed. So my spiritual master quoted it, where? I'll tell you. When I was in Calcutta, Rathayatra, so there was one program called Say Jai Gaur, Say Krishna, Say Jagannath. So 3 people spoke in that. So his own as Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj spoke, and my spiritual master spoke, and his own as Jayapadaka Maharaj spoke also. So his own as Bhakti Maharaj also spoke. So when they were speaking, my spiritual master said that Sanatan suffered for 1 year, and after 1 year, Mahaprabhu in one moment he vanished it from his body. So, and then he said, look at his own as Jayapadaka Swami Maharaj. He was telling that, although he had a stroke, look at his enthusiasm. And none of us are able to catch up with him, with his enthusiasm. So now when we look at him, we may feel sorry that, he must be feeling some pain or suffering, but he is super enthusiastic. He is making the whole world cheerful, even though he is sitting in a chair and, he's day in and day out, he's giving lectures and meeting the devotees, and he's jubilantly situated. When I first, when he, after the stroke, when he had come once to Bhaktivedanta hospital, and from there he came to Chowpatty temple, he, as soon as he taken trouble to come and all that, he sat, and he began the lecture, he said, dear devotees, I have decided to be positive in my life always because my doctor told me that my blood group is B positive, like that he said. Everybody clapped their hands, and so he cheered up everybody rather than making them feel morose, because he is never morose. He is always cheerful. So when we see great devotees suffering, it is not that suffering. Krishna is actually putting them in a situation where our affection for them increases even more, manifold, by seeing that. When they apparently depend on 5 or 6 Vaishnavas to take care of their body, all those Vaishnavas are getting opportunity for seva also, for doing service. And also more warning for all of us as disciples in ISKCON. Prabhupada says that as disciples, we have to be very careful not to bring suffering to the spiritual master. Once Prabhupada said that. And disciples asked, how can Guru get suffering from disciples? And Prabhupada said, disciples have to be very strict in following the regulative principles and leading a strict life so that we don't become the cause of any kind of suffering for the Guru, Prabhupada said. So all these are different angles in which I am telling you. So we can understand that pure devotees, we may think they are suffering, but we can see it's a visible evidence for us that, you can see His Holiness Bhakti-tirtha Swami Maharaj, on the last day when he left the body, well, you all may be aware, you must have seen the video, Radhe, 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 Jai Jai Shri, he was singing that, and he had tears, a stream of tears flowing from his eyes, and he said, the happiness cannot get any better than this. He was like overwhelmed with ecstasy, and that's how he left the body, And despite Similarly, you see His Holiness Sridhar Swami. The doctor had told that he has only 1 week to live. So from abroad, he came to Mayapur Dham. When he put his foot in Mayapur Dham, he raised his arms and said, Jai, Shishi Kavanita ki Jai. He said, I am so happy now. People said, but Maharaj, they are saying you only have 1 week period to go. He said, I have nothing to fear because I have come to Dham now. Kavanita will take care of me now. And then the doctor came next day. Doctor was very morose because he knew that he is going to leave the body. And he had a big stomach with full of 3-4 liters of water. It was some disease, hepatitis or something. So when doctor came to him, Maharaj was joking with the doctor. Doctor, who is inside? Is it a boy or a girl inside my belly? And doctor was surprised. How can a man who is leaving the body in a week joke like this? So this goes to show, in our movement, many of the great pure devotees who have left their body, you will see that they are fearless. There was one Mataji also in Mayapur who left her body. Many news reporters took her interview because she was still the last date she was cheerfully preaching. So these are all examples that Krishna sends to this world in front of us so that we can develop confidence in the path of devotional service. Yeah, I have another lecture coming up. There are some hands up here, I'm saying. I can take another 5 minutes, I can take Mataji. Is that all right?
There is a question in the chat box.
Ramakrishna Prabhu, he has asked about how to perform the Mangalarti. Actually, Mangalarti, Narsingharti, Tulsiarti, and then chanting of the whole name. Amongst all these things, the chanting is the most important. So I would suggest that when you get up in the morning, the first thing you can do at home is chanting of the holy name. Every Grihastha devotee should finish at least 12 rounds in the morning, minimum, at least. If you can finish all 16, it is best. And after that, you could, or if you're doing Mangalarti in the morning, it's good, but we have to get time for chanting. Chanting is most important. And chanting should be done in the puja room, sitting in a sacred space with full absorption. That's very important. Because the chanting gives us, it's like a foundation for the building. Without foundation, our spiritual life will become weak. So, and after that, short Mangalarti. Some families, because they have less time, they have to go to school or college or office. So sometimes they sing only once, like husband, wife, children, they may sing only once together, everybody, without singing after the lead singer. So then it takes only about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, can finish all the three. Mangalarti, Narsingharti, Tulsiarti, and watering Tulsi, and bowing down to Prabhupada. When I used to go to company, I used to sing Guru Puja while going in the bus. I used to sing Prabhupada Guru Puja also. And all these things, we should do it consciously with the awareness of the meaning also. Then we get the maximum benefit like that. And hearing a class every day, like you all are doing, is a very good habit. I don't know on what frequency you all hear. Now it's a series going on, I think now. Otherwise, Mataji, is it a daily class, this one?
Yes, Prabhuji. It's a daily class.
It's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a daily class, is not ordinary. If many devotees come daily, you are exactly following our instruction of Prabhupada, what Bhagavatam says. That's the price, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Very wonderful.
Virtual temple, like we do Bhagavatam in first chanting, then Bhagavatam, and then 10 o'clock again 1 hour chanting, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now what is going on, and then later on in the day we have children's classes, evening Bhagavad Gita class, Ishopanishad class, like that.
So you are giving a very good platform for all the devotees to connect. And everybody, so many are benefiting from this. It's very wonderful. That's all we have to do. In Kali Yuga, nothing else we need to do. We just have to, as I told you, Rama Smaran and Bhagavad Shravan. You are rightly situated. If you continue in this way, we can very easily build our remembrance of Krishna very easily like this. Thank you. So Ramakrishna Prabhu, you can guide him more about singing and everything. But probably his upcoming devotee, you can guide, I think, Mataji. And there is one more, Tarini Radha Mataji and Shukakara Krishna Prabhu. Yeah. Please tell me.
What motivates you to do bhakti and every day? Jyoti Mataji is asking.
Okay. That's a question, huh?
Yeah.
What is the question? Please, can you read it again, please?
She is saying, what motivates you to do bhakti every day?
She's asking bhakti every day. That's the one I am able to hear.
Yeah. Means,
what motivates you to do bhakti? Oh, right. Actually, how do we get the motivation? One of my prime motivations is Prabhupada's sacrifice. And I've seen Prabhupada's Lilamrita when we read, we were so deeply touched by, in old age, how much he gave himself, totally, utterly. That is one thing, when you read Lilamrita, you will get a lot of motivation from that. And the second thing, I have seen my spiritual master from 1991. I've been watching him, how the after the month, year after year, he has been very steadily going on in devotional service. And hearing the kathas of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from him, and also reading the Srimad Bhagavatam from the scriptures, my faith increased and my attraction also increased. And actually, our main inspiration comes from seeing various good role model examples. So I have multiple examples I can give you. I can give you names of 2 dozen devotees who greatly inspired me. So apart from Srila Prabhupada, I am inspired by various devotees. That inspiration also keeps me going. And also the results that we receive, which are actually sent by Krishna. For example, there is also reciprocation from Krishna in our lives. For every bit of devotional service we do, and the more we extend a little bit, 1 extra mile, then Krishna will also come 10 steps closer to us. You will see that. And that actually, that gives more and more confidence in the path, more and more joy in the path. And the more I'm reading, currently I'm teaching the 10th canto to one of our groups, the Bhakti-yoga group here. Now we have done about 10, 12, 10, 13 chapters we have done in 10th canto. The more we study the Bhagavatam and share it, we are transported to spiritual world in our consciousness by that. So I feel that, and the more I spend time in ISKCON day by day, I feel that Prabhupada has given the best medicine for us. And it is such a wonderful medicine. It's like, what do you call it? You have seen this, tonic they give for this throat, what do you call it? Cough syrup. It is a smell and taste well. So bhakti yoga is like that. It's very smooth and very easy path, joyful path. It's joyfully performed also. And very smoothly it takes us out of the material world and back to God. Just like imagine you have a band-aid in your knee. Next day morning, if you are told to remove it, the doctor has to remove it. It's very painful because all the hairs also come with it, like that. But you put some water, then it smoothly comes out. So Bhakti Yoga gives us the Bhakti juice. That juice can help us detach from the material world very easily. And when Bhakti Yoga becomes difficult, when we try to combine it with sense gratification, that's how it becomes difficult. We see that Prabhupada says sense gratification and Krishna consciousness go ill together, he says. So we should be very careful not to wet our consciousness. Like if you put some water, sprinkle water in a firewood, it becomes, then it leads to smoke. So we don't want smoke, we want fire. If you want fire, then we have to keep the firewood dry. Similarly, we have to keep our spiritual life free from propensity for sense gratification, duplicity, and such kinds of things. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, 19-point Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 19.159 and 19.160. If you read those two, you will understand what are the obstacles which are causing us problem. So Bhakti Thakur gives a list. In my channel also, if you go to the playlist and see Shaky to Steady seminars, 5 seminars are there, Shaky to Steady, based on Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani. That will also give you clues on how do we work on the anarthas and how do we remove the anarthas, Shaky to Steady. That's one seminar. Another seminar is 4 lectures. I think it's on removing unwanted habits, I think. So those kind of things I learned from Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani by Swarna Shivaram Swami Maharaj. So the book was so good that I'm speaking on it regularly. That also you'll find in the playlist. So these are kind of books which give us direction for the sadhana bhaktas. Yeah. Now I have to rush for another program. I'm sorry if I haven't answered any of you. Shukakar Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam. You are in Bangalore, Andu? Where are you?
Chennai Prabhu.
Oh, yeah, Chennai is
So
there.
happy. And Chennai in Alwarpet. And so nice to see you. You are so humble. When I came there, you took so much care. I really cannot forget the Pune time. So wonderful. Rumba Sandosham. Such a wonderful class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Shamagari Mataji, for giving me the opportunity to be with such wonderful Vaishnavas today. And I wish you all great success in your spiritual life for the wonderful things you are doing. You are a good example, I feel, for all the rest of the devotees in the world because of your sincerity and paying attention to this Bhagavatam daily. Keep it up. Very nice habit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your blessings. Let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubyam
Radheshyam Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna Prabhu.